Hello! Hopefully we are live. Hopefully this is functioning. I don't know. Google, I tried to schedule something. I don't think it worked. But we're here. Hopefully. I'm currently checking to make sure we're actually here. Hey! Cool. Yeah, we did it. We're actually here. We're live. We're in. Fantastic. Hi, guys. So if you guys want to like and share this one out because we're actually kind of in a place where you wouldn't expect to see us. We're over on my channel. And the reason we're over here is because Katie keeps trying to false flag people and get their channels taken down, and because I'm not monetized and we're not trying to make any money off of this, and because I'm also good luck striking my channel. It's all art, so we decided to do it over here because it's a little bit good luck striking me. I've got Lauren here, who's from Katie's past, I guess, from a good number of years ago, and she wants to tell us a little bit more about her situation and what she's experienced with Katie and what pattern she sees and sort of her experience in dealing with the situation. And I think we can pretty much take it from there. Lauren, how you doing?
Hi, everybody. So I knew Katie from 7.5 years ago, coming up on 8 probably.
It's as old as my dog.
Huh?
That's as old as my dog.
And it was part of a group, like a support group for pregnancy and things like that. And my experiences with her were definitely that there was a lot of manipulation. There was, we were not a large group. It was only about 20 to 30 of us, I would say. And just, helping each other out if questions, problems, venting, pregnancy hormones, all that jazz.
Oh God. Yeah.
And and then we all had our babies, and we were all supportive to each other, this through different struggles that people had. There was a lot of support for her, understandably so.
Right. Oh, of course. Yeah.
And then there was a fundraiser for a family member of hers that all of us promoted and, actively tried to help with everything. There were care packages sent.
Troubles and you guys did like a lot to try and between
there was
money and stuff to assist her family.
Yes, there was care packages sent, food sent, money sent, everything. And then time progressed, and it was probably about a year later that questions started coming up, and people really started vocalizing how they were feeling very uneasy about certain things, and then but nobody was really talking to each other. Does that make sense? Like, because it was an online.
So people were thinking that there were some concerns that there were, but it was also
but nobody was
at the table, and nobody talked to each other yet. Everybody was kind
of everybody was just
something weird going on.
Exactly. So it was like everybody kind of had these thoughts, but nobody was vocalizing them. So everybody was kind of feeling like, okay, maybe this is just me.
Right.
And then it came out that there were some very awful comments made about one of the girl's children.
Oh.
And it got back to the mother of that child. And there was proof, there were screenshots of conversations, it wasn't a he said she said, like there was definite proof that this had taken place.
Right.
And that mom flipped out,
understandably so. Yeah,
exactly.
Usually when people start talking about
children,
moms tend to get a little bit not okay
feisty.
With that.
Yeah. So once that happened, then everybody kind of started talking to each other.
Right. So it was kind of
And
like it was building, and then something finally came out, and everybody went, "Oh, you noticed that too."
yes, exactly, exactly. And so, you know, part of it was anytime the attention didn't seem to be fully on her, there would
Katie or
on
her?
Katie, yes.
Right.
You know, that she would put like a woe is me post, or, you know, just like it was a post just strictly for sympathy. And everybody would jump on it and we would do something nice for her, which is
Well, it was a
fine
support
if you're
group, right?
exactly, which is totally fine if you're friends with people. But at a certain point, once it happens almost like on a regular schedule, and it seems like anytime somebody else is having a big problem, all of a sudden this comes up again. That part of it doesn't seem genuine.
Right. Oh,
And
I see what you're saying. People started to
yeah,
question how genuine is this, you wanting this sympathy? How genuine is your actual problem if you're
yeah.
constantly
Is it that, you know, you're really having these huge struggles, or is it that you just want the attention that comes with it?
triangle a little bit?
Yeah, and you know, I mean, there definitely were some very genuine situations
Right.
that absolutely were not embellished or anything like that. But then there
Sure.
were other times where it just didn't come across as truthful.
Okay.
Or you know, if there was like a smidge of truth, it would be over exaggerated. So it was like, you know, you would take
Oh,
one
right.
part, and then so once everybody started talking, we started like, you know,
Comparing notes.
starting to air out some of these concerns that we were having through the last almost 2 years that this group was in existence. um you know, there was questions as far as, you know, the all of this time and energy that had been spent
Right.
to
Support this
help
person and their
her,
family.
that it it wasn't appreciated. You know, there was financial help, which there's no issue with that, except for the fact that, you know, you say how broke you are, and then, you know, you're doing thousands of dollars of repairs to a house, and then a couple months later you're building a house.
Oh wow, that's a lot of money. Repairing a house is sometimes even more expensive than building one in that case.
Well, and it was expensive because she had to sell that house, and, you know, obviously they were buying a new house, so you sell your old house like, you know, normal people
Yeah,
do.
that's a lot of money.
And so it was just very suspicious to all of us because it hadn't have been a grand amount of time,
Right. So
you
you guys
know.
essentially, let me see if I got the time frame here. Katie had something happen with a family member. She posted in your group, and your group decided to, wow, that's really bad that that happened to you. Let us help you out. So you guys helped her out. And then you got suspicious about the assistance that you gave her because just after you had helped her out, she did a ton of house renovations and then got a new house.
It wasn't a ton of renovations. If I remember right, it was like they had to recarpet, and then there was some kind of an issue with the piping. And that was the big one that cost a lot of
Oh,
money
that's expensive.
because, and, you know, it's been a very long time, so I don't remember the exact numbers. But I do remember going, wait a minute, like, how is this money there when, you know, 4 or 5 months prior, you know, you said you had nothing. It just, the timeline didn't add up, and it made everybody feel very used. But
Right.
those were the feelings that we were all kind of keeping inside because she was going through so much. Nobody wanted to call her out and be
That guy.
that guy. Exactly. We didn't want to be that way because, you know, we wanted to be supportive. You know, we did think of her as a friend. We wanted to be there, and we didn't want to think those bad things about a person that we considered a friend.
That, yeah, and somebody you were trying to help out, and somebody who was going through a hard time. So it was one of those
Exactly.
like, oh well, maybe it's just me thinking this. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm not quite understanding. Maybe I don't have some kind of information, and I don't want to call somebody out who's having a hard time with their family and struggling, and be that guy.
Exactly. And, you know, and especially because, you know, certain things that she was going through, none of us had gone through. So it was like, okay, well, maybe we just really don't understand this. You know, maybe this isn't making any sense. Um, but it did throw a lot of red flags for us because it just seemed very bizarre that, you know, and there was a comment made by Katie to one of the other girls, of if it wasn't for all of the donations, we could have never bought this house. Well,
Okay.
that doesn't help the red flags.
Right. That's definitely like, why were you using the money in a way that it was not intended to be used?
Exactly. Well, and I have zero proof that it was, you know, I don't want to say, oh, I know for a fact that that's what she used it for, because I don't have any proof to back that up
Right.
other
That's
than
just
the timeline of events.
Yeah, well, that's just the line of questioning. You guys were kind of all concerned that she might have been either using you or misrepresenting some information or like something along those
Exactly.
lines. And when she said that, it added fuel to this buildup that was, it's like the spark that everybody was like, well,
Well, and
how
that
did you manage
comment
to do that? Right.
and that comment didn't become public knowledge to everyone in the group until the blow up came out where she was talking about the lady's baby and, you know, calling her ugly. You know, she was,
Oh
you
God.
know, making fun of a whole bunch of people that were in the group that she either considered rednecks or dumb or, you know, just below her in some way. And we came to find out that there were all of these comments made about multiple members of the group. So then
So if she
everybody,
said it about one person, it's likely that she said it about two or three others, or
yes.
along the same lines.
Yes, as far as I know, it was only the one girl's baby, but I don't know if there were more comments made about other kids that were in our group.
Right. But definitely other people that were.
Yes, there was definitely other people that were talked about. And then, so when all of that blew up, then her solution was she was going to try and delete the group to erase everything that was there.
Was she the manager of the group at that point?
She was. She was. She was the one that had created it. And
Okay,
so,
hold on. So does that mean, sorry, I just want to clarify something really quick. She created a support group for mothers, then posted in the support group about and embellished the issues that she was talking about to garner sympathy to get money from the group she created.
it was money and gifts and things like that. Now, all of the sympathy didn't happen until months after the group was created.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So
Okay.
we were all expecting children at the time that the group was created.
That's a questionable timeline. Okay.
And
Yeah,
so
there's some questions here, but we'll get to those.
and so yeah, so she was going to just delete the group. Like that was going to be her solution and make it all go away. There was a second group that had been started that was an offshoot. And I guess there were conversations happening within that group as well, but she didn't have the ability to delete that group. So
Right.
instead, she decided to just delete her Facebook entirely and just kind of disappeared. She never answered for the things that were said. She never apologized. There was nothing. It was just
She
ghosted. She just completely ghosted the situation. And but was still trying to kind of manipulate things behind the scenes.
Right.
So it was very chaotic for like a couple of days. So it was like the accusations were levied, then it was a lot of manipulation behind the scenes, then everybody started talking and it got called out, and then she deleted her Facebook.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Like
so
that
she was talking to people individually, but not posting directly
in the
to
group.
them through the
Exactly. Like
threats and any
saying
of the things that were
exactly saying I never said these things, I never would say these things, you guys know me better than this, why is no one defending me, blah 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 blah, things along those lines.
Oh, yeah.
So
Why aren't people defending me against the accusations that are made against me?
well,
Obviously,
because at
that's
that
the
point
problem.
it was just accusations. When everything came to a head, like, so accusations were made. She goes behind the scenes and is, messaging people saying I would never do this. And then the screenshots came out. And once those were there was no way for her to defend what had happened. The people she was talking to who had believed her suddenly realized that she had been lying to them the entire time. So then that's when Facebook was just deleted. She just disappeared, blocked all of us, wouldn't respond to anything. And that was pretty much the end of it until I was on Reddit for teen mom stuff, like my guilty pleasure, I guess you would call it. And all of a sudden she popped up, and I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. How is she infiltrating this part of my life when I haven't?
Where's this
Where
coming
did she
from?
come from?
I got ghosted years ago. What the heck's
Yes,
going on?
exactly. And so I watched the video, and then, there were different things that were posted, and I had said on there, like, she's a liar, don't believe her because she is going to lie to you. And then there was a video, and then they created like its own subreddit, I guess, that's like just her. And they were posting about that Ronald McDonald fundraiser, and it
the one that went
just
to her PayPal.
yeah, and it just gave me flashbacks of everything that I had gone through with her years prior, because Ronald McDonald House, you set it up and it goes to them. Like, it wouldn't go to a personal PayPal.
Yeah,
And then
that's not how you do a charity. That's not how, no, especially a charity like that. It's one thing if you were to do a charity drive like Steve had done with Leslie, which we'll get into later. By the way, this person who is from Katie's past or interacted with her in the past doesn't know much about what's been going on. So we're gonna fill her in and see if things kind of match a little bit. But Steve's fundraiser was a person-to-person fundraiser, not something like an organization.
Yeah, well, and how is the person donating supposed to get their tax deduction if it's not going, like, my understanding has always been you donate to the foundation or through like if a person organizes it, it goes to that, or like it goes to that place, and then they give you the receipt of the donation so you can have it for tax purposes.
Right.
I could be completely wrong on that, but it just didn't make any sense how you would get the tax deduction off of that.
Where is anybody going to get the receipt from if they're sending stuff to Katie's PayPal?
Yeah, and how do they know where the money's going?
Yeah, how do you track it after the fact? Yes.
There's no way to prove where anything went.
If it did go, theoretically, she could, as far as my understanding goes, if she made like a large donation, she would get a receipt from the Ronald McDonald House, and then she could post that receipt and be like, no, look, the money went there. So you could do something like that if people are going to trust you. But at the same time, is that she then going to go through all of the donations that she got during that time and then send receipts out to all of the individuals for the amount after the fact? Like,
well, and I don't even think that would count for those people getting a personal receipt from somebody.
Right, instead of Yeah, instead of from Ronald McDonald's house itself. Like if I decide to if you're having trouble with your family, let's say, and so you go to a support Facebook group and say, hey guys, I'm having a hard time, can you help me out? And I decided to give you some money, that's not going to be tax deductible for me because I'm just gifting a friend some money.
Yeah. And, I don't know, I just didn't want people to be taken advantage of.
Right.
Because it's not fair to these people who are going to try and do something good.
Right.
And I've just seen her manipulate people and lie so much that I just, unless it's completely legitimate, you shouldn't trust it because
Right.
she'll spin anything. She'll spin anything. And
yeah, and there were you can go back, anybody who's interested in going back and looking at that live stream that she did about the Ronald McDonald house, you can see the way she reacts to people asking for the link to the Ronald McDonald house directly, or and being unwilling to provide that in the description from the get-go.
see,
It raises red flags at the very least.
Yeah, I really just don't want anyone getting taken advantage of. People work really hard for their money. If they want to take that money and do something nice and, donate it to a fantastic organization like the Ronald McDonald House, that is great. But to do that and then not be 100% sure if that's where your money actually went, that's not fair to those people who work so hard for their money.
Right. Yeah, no, that makes total sense. So she essentially disappeared when she deleted her own Facebook profile. Did she end up deleting the group then? Yeah.
She did not. It got turned over to somebody else.
Okay.
And I did end up leaving that group a while later. And to my knowledge, it is still in existence.
Okay,
and those girls are still supporting each other and are there for each other.
Okay, so something good potentially came out of this. If the group still exists. Katie never did end up deleting it.
No.
And there's an archive of screenshots that you have of this situation that you.
Yes.
And how many screenshots did you say you had? Did you?
Oh Lord, I have
an estimated. You don't have to be exact.
I'd say 30 plus.
30 plus screenshots of the situation, and are you willing to make those screenshots available potentially with blacking out the names?
Yes.
Okay,
as long as everybody's names are out, because there are so many girls involved that don't necessarily know what's happening, and it's, I don't want them to be,
we don't want to surprise them
exactly.
We don't want to give them, and
I want to respect their privacy as far as that, because
right. Yeah,
it was a good group in the sense of we really were there for each other and really did help each other through a lot of hard and difficult things.
And this group luckily still exists, and this was Expecting Mothers, an Expecting Mothers group.
Yeah, we all had babies around the same time.
So it's Expecting Mothers and new mothers.
Yeah, so it was just a small group. There's a website called Baby Center that's really big, and it's a lot of people. And Katie had put a post up asking if anybody wanted to be part of a Facebook group, so it was a little more personal and intimate and things like that, actually getting to know each other, actually, because there's so many people in Baby Center, it's just you don't actually really get to know anyone.
Right.
And so I had put on there yeah, sure, throw me in, why not? And just figuring I'd see how it was, and if it was weird, I'd just leave.
Right.
But it ended up being this amazing group of women who, all different kinds of backgrounds, different kids, just different all the way around. And it really was a really, really, really good group.
So, out of curiosity, then, having gone through what you've gone through as of this point, Katie making that post and creating that group initially, does that, looking back now, raise any kind of red flags to you? Even though you did end up making some good friends or finding a good group at the end of the day, does that raise any
At,
red flags in that way?
I would say no, just because the certain the certain difficult things that she had to go through and experience were not a question at that point. So I genuinely think it was just
She did
like a
just want to get a
smaller
group
group.
together to
Yeah.
help somebody.
I mean, there could have been ill intentions, but I genuinely don't think it was like started to garner sympathy at that point. I think it was an opportunity, if that makes sense. Like once things happened, she had the opportunity.
Oh, gotcha. That makes sense. We have a question in the chat, but I think I missed it, so I'm just gonna ask them to please check the question again. I'll see if I can get that for you. So was there anything else that you wanted to add? Any little before I move
I
on?
no, I mean that's pretty much the story.
Okay, so we actually heard, and I'm sure the audience can attest to this. There's a lot of things that sound relatively familiar to kind of what we've experienced. And I'll just give you I'll be very brief about what had gone on, so I'll be skipping a good portion of the details. But essentially, what had happened is Katie started covering someone named Jillian, who does something called Jilly Juice, which is essentially salty cabbage juice that she tells people will cure them of illnesses and stuff. And she kind of latched on to the end of that as it had already been debunked and taken down and hit by a good number of people. But somebody named Kyle Curtis, who at that point was partnered with Steve on a show called The Non Sequitur Show, took a little bit of interest in what she was saying and looked at her blogs on Pathos at that time and pulled her onto the show to talk about Jilly Juice. It was well received, and I guess Kyle, being Kyle, took it upon himself to make a decision for the show to have her on regularly. So she was on the show regularly up until the show kind of it has been temporarily stunted as Kyle has since thought his 50% was actually 90%, 95%, which equals he gets 100% of it. So essentially, he took the money, took the show, and tried to run. He's been in litigation ever since and has not responded to a single damn thing. We're currently just waiting for. We're in hurry up and wait mode with that. So when that happened, she spent a lot of time accusing Steve of medical fraud through veteran affairs and accusing him of sexual harassment. She has never specified what the sexual harassment is referring to, and her story has changed multiple times from being in a call to not being in a call to it changes. Depends on the day, I guess.
Yeah.
When that happened, eventually she kind of got a little bit more quiet for a little while and apologized to Steve for the VA fraud claims in a video that he mirrored on his channel, since it was an apology to him. She took the apology down, and I'm not exactly sure on the timeline. I'm not sure if Steve reposted it after she took it down or before she took it down. But either way, she took it down when Steve started questioning, hey, why didn't you apologize for this other false thing? Why did you only apologize for this false thing? Can you address this as well? She basically told him to fuck off, and can I increase my volume? I can increase my volume. Hopefully that's better. She basically told him to fuck off and then proceeded to go back to making claims about medical fraud and VA fraud that she had previously admitted were untrue, and then continue to accuse him of harassment, which is still that back and forth and back and forth. Can we rewatch the apology video again? Why? No, I don't want to watch it again. That's gonna make me sad. So once that had happened, she managed to get some kind of audio that was about somebody named Amber Portwood, who was on a celebrity on Teen Mom. So that ended up being whatever it was, but she accused Amber because she started lying about Amber. Amber said, "Listen, this is I'm going to go after you legally. Lawyers are getting involved. You need to stop." Katie then used what Amber had said in that video to say she was threatening her and call her parole officer because Amber was on parole at the time. So she tried to get this woman taken away from her kids, lose her job, and arrested for breaking parole for a threat that did not happen.
Nice.
Moving on, I skipped the Taddy Westbrook stuff. She went after a very large YouTuber in the beauty community, has their own lines of makeup, etc., etc. Claimed that Katie claimed that Taddy was threatening her because she had a post that had emojis in it, and the emojis had guns and a crystal ball in it, and said that that was threatening her. She ended up with 3 cease and desists from Taddy. But wait, there's more. She did manage to move on from Non Sequitur, but because she didn't shut up about it and kept lying about people, Steve started kind of noticing this pattern, and people started coming to Steve. She went after somebody else in the teen mom type, where they're commenting on the show and kind of talking about reality TV and giving their opinions on, people's parenting. And she met up with somebody named Leslie Bass. Leslie Bass got her channel struck by Katie, falsely mass flagged, and was recently, and up until recently, and as far as I'm aware, still is unable to stream, which is where her revenue comes from. Now, Leslie is a mother of 6, recently lost a nephew. Actually, you're wrong. Recently lost a nephew. It's Christmas time, and then additionally lost revenue that she was expecting to have over Christmas. So we did a fundraiser for her to try and help her out. Now, she after that false flagging, which Katie admitted to, although she has backpedaled to say that, "Oh, I didn't mean for it to be about Leslie. It was actually about Steve." Because that's any better. She decided to go into essentially she kind of tried to finagle her way around some things, and is now at the point of accusing people of crimes. She's accused Steve and I both of fraud about the fundraiser, which it can't possibly be. She's accused people of falsifying emails from YouTube. She has accused me of being a hacker, which is a criminal. She's,
Really quick, let me interject, but let me guess. She's done nothing wrong.
Oh, of course. She's the victim here.
Okay.
Absolutely. She decided to go out and attack Steve because of his hair, and then Steve clapped back about her eyebrows, and then she cried that this older man was talking about her looks and how sad he must be. It's amazing. So at the end of the day, what this kind of turns into is that it doesn't. There seems to be that she's what it sounds like, if she's going to do what it sounds like she did in your group. Oh yeah, and keeping in mind that she took her Facebook down and then put it back up, and then took her Twitter down and then moved it around, and then claimed she was hacked, and then this and that, and there's been like this stuff makes no sense. There's no how
hacked for
show
what?
it. Exactly. Hacked how, for what, and when, and where, because she said she deactivated her hacked account. You can't deactivate a hacked account because it's hacked. If somebody's wrested control of you, of your Twitter account, you can't deactivate it. Not without somehow getting a hold of Twitter. And good luck getting a hold of Twitter, because you can't tweet at them because your account's been hacked.
Oh, so essentially, she's doing the same things all over again.
Well, what do you think?
Yes.
Does it sound? Is that what it sounds like?
Yes.
I
guess I should say, in my opinion, yes.
So what? What sounds?
I wonder. I shouldn't make this joke, but I wonder what crimes I'm gonna have committed by talking to you.
I don't know. Perjury. The puppy got timed out. Aw, I was wondering how long that would take. Bye, puppy. One day you'll get let in when you stop shitting on the couch. You'll learn.
I mean, it sounds like she, it's going to a group, trying to be the most important person in the group, or from the sounds of it, with the teen mom stuff, being the top person to talk about whatever's happening. And then it's, my experience with her is it's a lot of manipulation. It's a lot of talking in circles, or once things start getting really hairy, it's like that analogy where you just throw the pot of spaghetti on the wall and see what sticks.
Right. Yeah.
And then you can just run with that one.
You pick the one thing out.
The one thing that people are like, oh, you know what? That does sound a little bit true, because that's part of it with her, is she will say something that has 2% truth to it.
So it sounds like what we're hearing from somebody named Unirock, and who has decided to hit her up, because essentially what they're doing is they've been throwing spaghetti at the wall for a little bit, and they've picked up on what they think might be a fake email, and they've drawn conclusions based on this one thing that kind of sounds like it could be potentially a problem. Now, we've gone through and explained how it's a problem in this ways and not a problem in this ways, and what it could mean and what it can't mean, but how you cannot draw a conclusion from this. But they've thrown something at the wall. This one thing seems to have clicked with people to be like, okay, yeah, that does seem kind of weird, and then they're running a narrative about that thing without having enough information to actually run that narrative. Does that sound about right?
Yeah.
Cool. I have a question, because they were you talked about a conversation she was having, where she was talking about someone's child.
Yes.
So we have screenshots that apparently are from Katie and someone else who's known her for a very long time. And we've been trying to get these verified because they got leaked out before we were able to verify them. So you've known Katie for a long time. You interacted with her a good number of years ago. And you seem to have experienced the same sort of behavior. So can I potentially?
And I had seen that screenshot. I had seen that screenshot on Reddit, because somebody put it up, and I had put a comment on there that, well, I hope to God that it isn't true, because
that's an awful thing to have said.
It's a baby, and I don't, my brain can't comprehend talking bad about a baby, but I hope it isn't true, but it wouldn't shock me if it was.
Right. And this is just to be clear to the audience. These are the screenshots where somebody had asked Katie if she had heard about Crystal's son. She said, "Who's Crystal?" They said, "Oh, this person." She said, "Oh, I'm not sure." The person then responded with, "Oh, her son has died." She said, "Good. Maybe now they'll leave me alone." Does that sound kind of familiar to you? Does that kind of sound similar in the wording and sort of the self-centered nature? And it's not about me, so I don't care.
Yeah, like I said, in my opinion, yes, because she really doesn't like the attention being taken off of her, and she always wants to curve the, the way people are talking back to her. So if it's bringing a whole lot of negativity and she's dealing with a whole lot of negativity, well, she wants that to go away, because then she can spin things so that it goes back to being how awesome she is and how amazing she is and how, she's so strong and she does this and she does that. That's the sort of stuff she wants to hear.
She wants people to praise her.
Yes,
what you're telling me.
very much so. She doesn't want to be questioned. She wants it's almost like a blind allegiance, because when, if you start questioning her, it's an instant defense. Like it can't be a normal conversation. It's instantaneously, well, you did this, you did this, you did this, you did this, instead of, well, wait, I did this too, and you did this, and this is how it affected me. Like a normal conversation would be, where it would be like, okay, I got upset by this, and then the other person.
It's along the lines of tell me if this sounds familiar. She was doing a live stream, and I had yet to be blocked on her channel. So I went in there and I asked her real quick for a source for what she was saying. She was making a few claims about Steve harassing women. So I said, so who are these women? Because she just said women. She didn't say who. She didn't say what had been said. She didn't explain the situation. She just said women. Does that vague phrasing sound kind of familiar, where she's just going to make a broad statement that these people are doing this thing,
Yeah,
but not really give you specifics?
Yeah.
So you can't verify it?
Yep.
So I asked her for a source, and a little bit later on in the stream, at one point I asked, what about the VA medical fraud stuff? Then she blocked me and said, if you want to have an act, you're a bad person, you can't be here because you've said mean things about me. Because I think I triggered her a little bit. I think she's really mad because me and I presented her as a candidate for an award that we do every year, which is, well, is just for fun, and even the people who are nominated end up having a good time with it. One of them's trying to win currently, and the award is called Dumb Fuck of the Year. We've been doing this award for 6 years. This is my first year participating, but we've been doing this award for 6 years. She's talking like it's brand new, and she's the only one who's been mad. She's the only one who's been mad about it. So I asked her about, go vote for Katie for Dumb Fuck of the Year. So, and I called it. I was like, she's gonna promote herself, and she did. But and on this one where she blocked me, what she did was I asked her about the VA medical fraud stuff that she was claiming about Steve, and it was a clear question. It wasn't rude. I didn't come at her about anything. And so she blocked me and said, "You're not allowed to be here. If you have any real questions and want to have an actual conversation like an adult, message me." Bitch, you just blocked me.
Yeah. Well, and there were similar things where it was, somebody would post a question and it would be, well, we don't need to talk about it in this public forum. We can talk about it in private, which in theory sounds good, but once it happens so many times, you start to wonder if you want the private conversations to happen, so what you say can't be called out.
Oh, hey, Keon made it in. What do you guys think? Do you think I should give Keon a wrench? So you're telling me she gets asked legitimate questions, refuses to answer those questions, makes accusations without clarifying either what she means or what the situation is. One in the chat to give Keon a mod status, 2 in the chat for no. You guys let me know. She's vague enough that you can't garner any real information from it or verify what she's saying
in public, and then in private she'll spin it so it's however that person that she's speaking with, it's almost like it's tailored to that person so that they believe her and take credence in what she's saying.
Right.
And then, but because it happened in private, if you mention it publicly, there's no way to really prove what was said.
Gotcha. So, and in that case, does that kind of coincide with anybody who doesn't just take her narrative as sort of a bait? Anybody who asks a legitimate question will just get blocked. It kind of baits out the people who are actually going to try and look into it.
I mean, as far as my experience, nobody really got blocked until the end, when there was no more spaghetti to throw at the wall. All of it had gone away, and she had been called out on everything.
Yeah. Oh, hey, surprise, surprise. Hey, mods, you want to take care of the problematic people that decided to come and troll the conversation about something that has completely unrelated? Thanks, guys. Surprise, surprise. Oh, look, there they go. I love chat. You guys are my favorite. Keon, if you're gonna come here, at least have the balls to be here on your actual account. Yeah, it sounds like there's a lot of similarities with. There's a pattern. There's a pattern here of essentially what I would describe as grifting. Are you familiar with that term?
Kind of.
It essentially means that you're in one group, you get whatever you can out of that one group, and then you delete as much as you can, and then move on to the next one to then garner as much as you can, and then delete that and move on to the next one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
whether
exactly
that be,
her MO.
Yeah, whether that be monetary or whether that be like whether it be through money, whether it be through the attention that you want, whether it be through it doesn't have to be money in my opinion. You chat can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think it's tied down to that one thing.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Very nice. Well, I think that pretty much covers everything. Chat, if you have any questions, please at me. You can let me know. I'm so glad we were almost able to weed out the majority of the trolls that I kind of expected to show up in the first stream ever. Fantastic. That took no time at all. Amazing. They're predictable and easy.
Yeah, no.
Well, thank you. How long have we been at? We've been at it for about an hour, so that's actually really good. We made some decent time. It's almost like Steve isn't here to keep interrupting, interjecting with his stupid man opinion. Clip that, guys. Steve, you old white man. I know he's in the chat. I'm giving him a hard time. So if is there anything else? Is there anything else you might have picked up on? Is there anything else that you think that you want to share as a side thing?
Not that I can think of, just be leery, I guess. If something isn't making sense, there's probably a reason why it's not making sense.
Gotcha. So essentially your advice to people is to be cautious and question things and maybe talk to other people to see if they're kind of feeling the same way.
Yes, definitely.
Is there any sort of anything you want to? I guess that's a good place to leave it, guys. Keep in mind, keep your questions polite when you're asking about things. Is this going to be a frequent thing? That way, I have alerts for you. I don't know yet. This was fun. I enjoyed this. What do you think, Lauren?
I'm sorry, I missed what you said. I apologize. I was reading comments.
Oh yeah, no, I get you. People are asking if this should be a regular thing. So I was just saying that I had a good time doing this, and this was.
I did too. It was a lot easier. I was nervous because I don't do things like this, so
right.
It was fun. Well, I don't know if fun's the right word, but
I know what you're saying. It was relaxed and not too difficult.
Yeah.
People seem like they want to do it again. So I guess if there's another interview that seems that will be interesting or goes along with it, we can do something like this. We can do kind of like a tea time chat, something like that. Maybe some kind of I don't know, segment spin-off. Yeah, whatever. We'll figure it out. We'll work on something in the background. We always do. Thank you so much for coming. Any last words?
No, thank you everybody for listening.
All right, make sure you guys like and share. And again, just to clarify, Lauren is somebody who actually. Do you want to describe yourself since I described you?
So I knew her about 7.5 years ago. I'm just a normal person, I guess would be the way to describe me.
Yeah. So okay. So an average person who was part of a group who knew Katie back in the day that she deleted and moved away from when people
Yes.
started asking her questions.
Yes.
Surprise, surprise. And this was, you said, about 7 years ago.
The group was created about 7.5 years ago. The big blow up fight happened almost 5 years ago.
Oh, there you go, everybody. That's the brief of who we're talking to, what's going on. Um, thank you so much for sharing. Chat is thanking profusely. Please like and share so this gets out because again we're streaming here instead of on our regular place, so it's going to take a little bit more time for people to actually catch up and see this one, especially since we wanted to keep this a little bit shorter than normal, which is perfect. Thank you so much for coming.
All right. Thank you.
Have a good night, everybody.
Mm.
How do I stop it? There it is. Bye, guys.